Hi everyone, I have not done an unboxing video in a very long time, so I thought I would reintroduce you guys to hot foiling. If you follow my channel, thank you. If you don't, you want to hit the subscribe button, and if you are here to learn about foiling, you have come to the right place. I am part of the Spellbinders Glimmer of the Month Club, and last month I broke my glimmer, so I bit the bullet and I bought a new one. So I wanted to do an unboxing and reintroduce you guys to hot foil. So first things first, before I open this, this is completely different from toner foiling. So if you don't know what toner foiling uses a Mink machine or a Gina K Fuse machine, which I have here, and it uses toner foils. Okay, so a lot of times they're called toner foil or transfer foil or textile foil. Okay, those foils are designed to be used in one of these foiling machines in which they provide heat and pressure. Okay, so this is not that type of machine, and no, you cannot mix up the foils. Okay, so if you are into toner foiling, or you have a Mink machine or a Gina K Fuse machine or a laminator, and you have bought foils that say transfer foil or toner foil or textile foil, it is not going to work in the Glimmer system. It's a completely different system. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you want to learn more about toner foiling, I have a toner foil playlist, and you can also check out my Pink and Main videos and my Gina K videos. Those will demonstrate for you toner foiling. Okay, so hot foiling, what is the difference? So hot foils, and by the way, there is no way to tell by looking at them what the difference is. Hot foils have a adhesive built into the foil, and when it comes in contact with heat, it sticks. So that's what's really cool, but there is no way of looking at it and knowing if it's hot foil or not. So the companies that sell hot foil are Spellbinders Glimmer, Foil Press, Gemini Foil Press, if you can find it. The Go Press and Foil brand, I forget what it is. The Cricut foil is actually a hot foil, even though they call it a pressure foil. It is actually a hot foil. But there's a lot of different companies that sell hot foil. So you specifically want it to be for your hot foil system. And it says that on the Spellbinders Glimmer foil. And my camera doesn't want to focus here, but no, foil doesn't really go bad. I've had foil that's 10, 15, 20 years old, and it still works as long as you store it properly. So you want to keep it in a dry area, away from dust, heat, light, things like that. Just keep them. They come in these nice storage boxes. Keep them that way. All right, so what do you get inside of a new Glimmer machine, and what have they changed on it? So they really haven't changed much over the years. I'll show you the one that I blew up, and then I'll show you this one. It comes with a little magnetic handle. And then you have your base platform, which is going to be plugged in. So the only thing they really changed is the color. Okay. Then you have your heating element, which this is kind of weighty because this is what gets hot. And sometimes when you get a new one, this is kind of tight. What you do is just kind of lift it up a little bit before you pull it out. But this one is really not too bad, okay? And then you have your power cord, your instruction papers. So I'm going to take the power cord here. So why would someone choose hot foiling over toner foiling? The look is a little different. With hot foiling, it takes these special hot foil plates, although now you can also use the better press plates. So better press plates serve as a 2-in-1 function. They serve as better pressing and for foiling. But a lot of companies now make hot foil plates. So for example, Waffle Flower has them. Dare to be Artsy has some. Catherine Pooler has some. So there's a lot of companies where you can search hot foil plates or Spellbinders Glimmer plates. Spellbinders has the most that I know of. Okay, and we have that plugged into the wall. We're going to plug this into the back here. Okay, and then you're going to turn the power button on here. So it actually was on and it will light up. Okay, and then there are 2 plates that go on top. So we also have, like I said, the magnetic tool, the instructions, 2 sample rolls of foil. They give you a gold foil and a rainbow foil. And then in this baggie, we have the 2 heating plates, which are basically to hold the plate in place, hold the hot foil plate in place, and a sample of hot foil flowers and sentiments here. There is also a rubber mat to put your hot plates on, your hot foil plates on. And you can use this tool. I think I'll do a giveaway. If you need one of these, I'll be happy to give you this one because I don't use them. But I want to demonstrate to you how to use this with a glimmer plate. This was Glimmer of the Month for October, and this is Better Press of the Month for October. And like I said, both of these can be hot foiled. So the difference is hot foil, like I said, heats up when it touches the heat. It doesn't need any special adhesive. Toner foil does not have any adhesive in it. So toner foil actually needs something to be printed by toner or with Gina K's Poly Glaze for the toner foil to stick to. In this case, this heating element is going to heat up this plate, and as soon as the foil touches whatever is pressed into it, it will press that design into the paper. So not only do you have specific designs, you have to have a hot plate to use it, but it kind of gives you a little bit of an indentation into the foil. It's not a lot, not as much as Better Press, but it is pretty cool. So this is a bunch of little snowmans. Here are our 2 plates. I've shown on my old one where I taped them together. Because this is brand new, I'm not going to worry about doing that. It doesn't really matter if you put the green plate or the clear plate on top. Just going to do that. And all we're doing is kind of waiting for this to heat up. So this will turn green once this is up to temperature and hot enough. And this little magnetic tool just picks that up and moves it, and then you press that button and it releases the magnet. So if you need one of these, comment down below, and I'll pick a winner and I'll mail that to somebody because I have like a million of them. Okay, so we're going to let that heat up, and the types of paper you should use. Really, hot foil can stick to any paper. Ideally, we still recommend a smooth paper. So we recommend like Hammer Mill Premium Cardstock. Your best kinds of papers are any kind of smooth paper. So any kind of like pearlescent smooth paper or foil card or just any smooth paper. Yupo paper works the best because it is a synthetic paper, but anything that is really smooth. It will stick to anything though. You can literally hot foil on fabric, on ribbons, on cork. You can hot foil anything because, again, that heat is pressing that design in. The other thing you're going to need for this machine to finish off the process is a die cutting machine. I have the Spellbinders Platinum here, but it will work in the Big Shot. It will work in the Gina K Intracut as well. I did a video on the Intracut when it first came out, and I showed that you can run the glimmer through it. But the idea here is we're going to cut some foil. So I have some Glimmer Prism, which is a silver holographic, and then some cobalt blue. The idea is you press, this gets heated, you press it into the foil, and it presses into the paper. And like I said, the heat is what causes it to stick. There is nothing special on the paper. So we are going to cut this to be slightly larger than our plate. Okay, and the difference is with hot foil versus toner foil too, when you're applying it, is with toner foil, we put it face down. We put it on top of our image we want to foil. Well, it's the opposite with hot foil. So with hot foil, we want this foil to stick to our paper. So always remember the dull side should be touching the paper, no matter what kind of foiling you're doing. So we are going to put this foil pretty side down, and you might even want to put a little note on your machine, a little sticky note or a label maker that says pretty side down, because we always want to press, this is going to be the sticky side of the foil, into the paper. So you're going to remember pretty side to the plate, pretty side to the plate, okay? And then I just have some half sheets of paper here. I'm pretty sure this is 100-pound premium, but I don't know. I just found it in my drawer. And I'm just going to put that down, and I'm going to put my 2 plates over it. Okay. And again, we're going to wait for this platform ready. Oh, turn green. We're going to press this button. All this button does is give us a 60-second countdown. So basically it's saying I'm hot enough. Now put your foil and your paper on and give us 60 seconds to kind of meld together. While it's doing that, I'm going to cut a piece of this prism. Oh, it's brand new. It's not even open yet. And you can mix hot foil plates from different companies. Like I said, there's so many companies now that do hot foil plates. I'll try to link some of them down below. Like my favorites are Waffle Flower, Spellbinders, Catherine Pooler, Dare to be Artsy. What's that other one? Pink Fresh Studios has quite a few. Trying to remember the other company. I'll think of some more as we are going through. I'm just going to cut a piece of this silver because this is going to go on our background. Okay. The other thing you'll notice I did not do is I didn't do Dusty Dusty. You don't have to do Dusty Dusty because, again, the adhesive and the pressure in the foil will make it stick. So you don't need to do Dusty Dusty. Okay, the timer says, hey, 60 seconds is up, Nance. Go ahead and run us through the platinum. So this is where you kind of want to be careful because you really don't want to try to move and jiggle anything around. You want to have everything ready to go. So I'm slowly going to pull this off. And as I pull it off, the whole thing, I'm putting my fingers on the top just to kind of hold it in place and then move it over. And we're going to run it through our platinum. This does fit better in the platinum system than any other system because they're made by the same company to work together. Okay. All right. So once that's run through, now we can lift this and reveal it. I like to put my platform back in place so it stays warm. Again, you don't want to lose any of that heat. So we are going to take this off, press that down, and I'm going to put the glimmer plate. So that was a better press plate. Now I'm going to show you an actual glimmer plate. The glimmer plates are a little bit thicker, just so you're aware. We're going to put those on. I'm going to put my paper pretty side down and put a half a sheet of paper on there. And then put my 2 toppers on. Okay, it's green. It's ready to go. We're going to hit that again for 60 seconds. I'm just going to slide it over here. I'm going to slide this out of the way too while it cools down. All right, and I'm going to reveal. It's perfectly foiled. Okay, I have a little over foiling down at the bottom here. That's okay because this is going to be my centerpiece. I'm going to cut that out. If you want to avoid that over foiling, one of the things you can do is kind of cut the corners off your foil. What happens is that foil lays down, and remember when I said when it melds together, it starts to stick. Okay, but this piece we can also keep, and we can do negative foiling with this. So there's 2 ways of doing it. One way is to purchase a solid hot foil plate, and you run this through again on a piece of paper with a solid hot foil plate. That is not the easy hack, though. I'm going to give you the easy hack in just a second. But you can see how beautiful those little snowmen came out in that blue foil. Now, if you ever have foil where you don't want it, because there's like a tiny little piece here in his nose where it's just a little bit of extra foil, you can take a stiff brush and kind of brush that foil out of the way. But if it's still kind of stubborn and not coming out, you can use a little piece of washi tape, soft washi tape that's not super sticky, and run that over anywhere there's excess foil, and you can see that foil now came out of his nose. Okay, there was a piece of foil stuck in there. So you just take a soft piece of washi tape, and I mean like not super sticky tape, okay? So washi tape works really good, and you just dab on the areas where, hey, that's a really small intricate area, so the foil kind of wants to stay in there, and it will pick up on the back of the tape. I don't know if you guys can see that. Foil is stuck on there, okay? And now I can color this in, and it's ready to go. So my background is now ready. Same exact process. The light is totally green. It's ready to come out. I'm going to carefully pull that off, kind of put my thumbs on there to hold it so nothing shifts, and run it through. Okay, it is normal, by the way, to get impressions on your plate. It is normal to get foil on your plate. That is part of the foiling process. So you can see I have that impression now on my plates. That's perfectly normal. It's okay. It's just like when we die cut, you can buy extra replacement plates, but I can tell you I've had mine for years and years and years. I've never bought replacement plates. They just hold up really well. Okay, so now I'm going to reveal this is the background I did. Okay, and I have a little bit of overfoiling there in the center. It just had too much pressure, but still totally usable because this is going to be my background, and I'm going to put the snowman in the middle. So, and you can still do everything else you do with regular toner foiling. You can ink blend over this. You can color it in with markers. So let me just grabbing a light blue ink here. This is Stellar ink from Simon Hurley. And again, like I recommend with toner foiling, you want to use a dye-based ink. You don't want to use Distress Oxide inks. You don't want to use alcohol inks because Distress Oxide inks have a haze to them, a white haze. And alcohol inks will alter the color of your foil. Unless you want your foil to be a different color, then by all means go use alcohol inks. But sometimes there are some alcohol markers I know that lift the foil and can cause the foil to not adhere properly. So I always recommend dye-based, water-based inks, Gina K, Simon Hurley, regular Distress ink, just not Distress Oxides and not alcohol inks. But you can ink blend over the foil, and you get this resist with the foil. And I can just take a soft cloth and wipe over that, but you can see my foil is still sparkly underneath there, okay? So I'm going to cut this down. Let's go 5.5 by 4.25. Should be more than big enough. Perfect. And this one, I'm just going to use a circle die and cut those guys out. Actually could probably cut them out of the center here and still use this background piece as another card front. So I'm going to bring my platinum in. And actually, I'm going to bring in some of the Spellbinders Treasured cardstock in blue. Oops. Might be too big. Well, it's going to mask my coloring. That's okay. We'll ink blend over it. I'm going to cut this down. I'm just going to cut a circle out of this actually. So I only need a small piece of this. Actually, I'm going to cut it down to 5.5 by 4 1/4. We're going to make this our matte piece and we'll cut the circle out of the center of it. So it will serve double duty here. Okay, so now this guy fits in there. I did go 2 sizes larger than him so you can really see the glitter. We're going to cut this panel down and stick it on top of there. And we are going to lose a little bit of our, I'm going to put some more ink on there. So we're going to cut this down just 1/4, so 5 1/4 by 4. There we go. A little bit more blue on there. Okay. I'm going to glue my background down. Okay. And I'm going to glue this down to the glitter. And I want to be very generous with my glue because it's sticking to glitter cardstock. And before I attach that, I'm going to color the little snowmen in. Let me grab a couple of markers. Okay, very easy to color those guys in. Give them a little bit of life. And just going to use a little bit of foam tape. And then all I need to do is glimmer a sentiment and it'll be done. So that's how easy it is to hot foil. You really can't make too many mistakes with hot foiling. It's pretty easy to do. You can see not only do you have all that sparkle in the back, but our snowmen also are shiny. See that on there. But I promised you a hack. So now I have these 2 pieces of foil, right? Well, how do you reuse these? So one thing you can do is you can purchase a solid hot foil plate. So the way a solid hot foil plate works is the same way. It's basically one big solid piece, okay? You're going to take your foil, again, pretty side is going to be down. I'm going to turn this on and demonstrate it with this one. It should work with this plate because it's a pretty big plate, okay? You're going to put your plain paper over it. And in this case, I'm going to just add one more as a shim. Okay. And then we're going to put our 2 plates on. And we're going to let that heat up. While that's heating up, I'm going to show you the cheat way, the hack way that I've shown everybody before, but it works for all kinds of leftover foil. Okay, so the hack way is to purchase yourself some toner sheets or white poly glaze sheets. So these are Gina K white poly glaze sheets. And you can use a laminator, but I do recommend a fuse or a mink machine. And if you are a foiling snob, which is our Facebook group, you'll know where I'm going with this. I just have to plug this other machine in while this is warming up. And the reason I like this method is because it is pretty much fail proof. Okay, you cannot mess this up. So we're going to turn our machine on, and I want to go to setting 4 on the machine. Okay, if you are using a mink, you're going to do the same thing. Okay, but the Gina K poly glaze sheets are white in the background, and I want my snowmen to be white. Okay, so I have these marked with a little X on the back so I know which way is up. And I'm going to cut a little piece of this to 5 1/4 by 4. I want it to be just slightly smaller than my foil. Okay, and I always say when you get these, you need to mark the back with an X. So there's a slight gloss to the top. This is the sticky side, which is going to melt when it goes through the machine. And then this is the paper side. So we always want to stick our image not on the X. See the X? We want to stick our image here. And again, you don't have to dusty because this is going to stick to the whole image. But I want to make sure that entire thing is covered in foil. You don't want any of that exposed, okay? Now, the other thing you may want to use, instead of using your carrier sheet, you may want to use a piece of folded paper, because that excess foil is also going to stick to everything. So this foil, again, what did I tell you? Hot foil heats up and sticks. So this is all going to heat up and it's going to stick. So instead of using my carrier folder, I'm going to use a folded piece of paper. Okay. You can also use the DecoFoil Thermo Web craft sheets because they are resistant. They have like a smooth coating on the inside, which kind of resists some of that stuff. But I'm just using a folded piece of paper here. Okay. Now that this is up to heat, it's on 4. I'm going to run this through and I'm going to just hold it until it goes all the way through. This is heated up. So we're doing it both at the same way. What you're going to see is this is going to stick much better than this. And it's just because you're using double stickiness here. You're using the stickiness of the poly glaze and you're using the stickiness of the foil. So you get a better chance of giving full coverage versus here where you're only waiting for the hot foil to heat up hot enough on the plate to stick to your paper. So I really like using this method better for my hot foiling sheets, or any leftover foil actually, but you can use it with your hot foil sheets. So I'm going to turn that off. We're going to let this cool down. This is just about done. So we're going to run this through our machine. There are quite a few companies that make the solid hot foil plate. You can get one from Catherine Pooler. Hers is teal. Waffle Flower has one, which is really large. I like the Waffle Flower one. And Pink Fresh Studios has one. But it doesn't matter which company you use for a solid plate. I just flip that one over So we're going to try to see if that works. And you want to be very slow and take your time running this through. And I'm going to go back and forth because I want to try to, again, get as much adhesion as I can with that. Okay. Now let's see which one gives us the best results for using our leftover foil. Okay, so first I'm going to do the hack method. And again, you can see some of that foil stuck on the paper there, which is why I use that. If it sticks to your transfer folders, it doesn't hurt anything. You can just use a little bit of acetone or magic eraser to clean that up. All right, but now we want to see if this stuck to the poly glaze, and the whole thing should have stuck. Oh, I think there's a little hair stuck in there. Ta-da! There was a little hair in there, but that's okay. See how well that came out? And I used almost all the foil except where that little hair was. Okay. Now let's see how the solid hot foil plate method worked. Okay. Ooh, that actually came out pretty good. There we go. That actually came out pretty good. This is missing because it was missing when I did my first pass. It actually overfoiled, remember that? But it actually cleared off of here pretty nicely. Come on, open up. So there's no foil left in the center there. So this is now done. So you can do either way with your waste foil, but I recommend, if you're going to get a solid hot foil plate, either the waffle flower one is pretty big, or Catherine Pooler one is teal in color. Spellbinders doesn't sell one. They sell a small square, like it's only like this big. So they do not have a solid plate, but you can do what I did and just flip it over. And that worked out fine, and it did not damage my plate at all that I can see. But that's the difference, is the wallflower one is completely solid with nothing that can press into you don't want to damage your heating platform. But there you guys go. So hopefully you had fun watching me do this unboxing. If you have been trying to figure out if hot foiling is for you or not, there are advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage is it is a more expensive system. You have to have the hot foiling machine. You have to have some kind of a Glimmer, sorry, not the Glimmer machine. This is the Glimmer machine. Die cutting machine that it will coordinate with. Like, this will not work in the Anna Griffin machine. It will not work in the Gemini machine. It will only work in like the Big Shot, the Gina K Intracut, or the Sizzix machine, or the Spellbinders Platinum, okay? And it may not work in all of those machines without adding some shims, so just be aware of that. You'll have to practice with your machine. Like on my Big Shot, I had to use shims, but it does work perfectly with the Platinum system, whether you have the 6.5-inch Platinum or you have the full Big Mama Platinum. It will work. It will not work in the Mini Platinum. But the plates are expensive. These can be expensive, but it is a permanent plate that you'll be able to use. And again, Spellbinders does make it easy because now their better press plates can be foiled. So if you have a better press system, all of the better press plates can be foiled. And they're probably at some point going to move from just Glimmer foiling plates to better press plates. So it'll be better press and foil plates, so these will probably eventually go away and they'll all be better press. And if you have other companies better press plates, you can also foil with those. All right, so it is a little bit more expensive, but it's also pretty forgiving, because once you learn the formula and you do it, you pretty much will get perfect foiling almost every time. It's not like a toner system where you're going to get black spots. It's not going to foil correctly. Do you add a shim? Don't you add a shim? It's pretty easy once you figure out that you need really good smooth paper. and hot foil will stick to anything. Very rarely do you have missed spots. Now you might miss 1 or 2 spots, but it's white underneath. It's not black underneath, so it doesn't stand out as much to most people. And again, you can ink blend over that and it will cover up any of those white spots. So there's some advantages and disadvantages. Again, disadvantages, it is another cost to be able to invest in these hot foiling plates. But the advantage is you really get some really nice images when you hot foil them. So I hope you had fun learning. If you want to learn more about hot foiling, check out my hot foil playlist. If you want to know more about toner foiling, check out my toner foil playlist. If you are looking for places to purchase all of these items, you can pick them up at scrapbook.com, Spellbinders UK. There is a UK version where it has a European plug and voltage. So you can check those out. Please use the links down below and make sure you say yes to cookies so I can get credit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, post them down below and join our Facebook group, the Foiling Snobs Club, where we can help you more with your crafting journey. It does not have to entail foiling. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.